When is Senior X30 ever dull? Certainly not today. Lucas Ellingham and Joe Taylor on the front row of the grid. Marcus Littlewood and Tom Fleming from Piers Pryor and Sam Heading. Then Thomas Turner and Darrell Taylor, Reggie Dewey and Will Murdoch, Archie Tillett and Lewis Mackey from Aaron Brown and Harry Platten, Casper Scusa and Oliver Greetham from Derek Morgan and Ewan Wilson. Then Thomas Wood, Oscar Joyce, Scott Smith, Dan Butterworth, Chris Bingham, James Walker, JP Sleater, Josh Graham, Adam Fitzgerald, Louis Johnston-Cool and Adam Colton. Out of the final turn. They will charge their way forward. Got to keep it in the tram lines, boys and girls. Ready? Let's race at PF International. They swarm towards each other, and that was almost contact. Great start from Marcus Littlewood, straight into second position in his new berth at Jade Racing Team. There's been an incident further back. Cards trying to get themselves back together. A couple of them have spun, so a very difficult first lap for some as the rest of them try and swarm their way back into contention. So down the back straight, that's the MDL of Joe Taylor, slotting himself into third position. There's Piers Pryor, very distinguishable by the pink helmet. Is that paper blowing in the breeze? Hailstones? Cherry blossom? Goodness me, all over the circuit. Answers on a postcard, please. There is Lucas Ellingham in the lead. Littlewood second, Taylor third. Fleming up to fourth now, past Piers Pryor. Very easy to spot, as I mentioned, from a distance there. Nice move on the inside. That is the 103 getting up. That's Harry Platten making his bid on Archie Tillett. So he gets through. Nice overtaking move there as well at the bottom of Bobby Game. 178 and the 148 getting through. I wasn't sure if they were both going to make the move there, but Derek Morgan and James Walker get the run on the inside line there, and they both move up a position. So out in front, Lucas Ellingham doing a fine job in the lead. Second place, Marcus Littlewood, not belong, is it? Oh, he just didn't have the pace on the inside of the apex. Couldn't quite sustain the overtake, but certainly had a look. So Littlewood in second, Taylor third, then Fleming. Oh, that was a nice cheeky move. I think that was Sam Heading, was it? Trying to get the move on the inside there. Here's Littlewood going for the lead on Ellingham. Doesn't make it stick though. So Ellingham, Littlewood, Taylor, Fleming, Heading, Pryor, Dewey and Turner. Now defending to the inside line. Goodness me, Littlewood is absolutely determined to get past Lucas Ellingham first. And there's Fleming, gets through into third position on the inside line. So Thomas Fleming now through into third place as they come up to Bobby Game corner. Still some cherry blossom or whatever falling on the circuit. Actually, that might be rain now, you know. I think that's rain coming down as Reggie Dewey had a look on the inside of Sam Heading. It didn't work, but it's raining on the circuit and everybody's on slick tyres. This is going to be a nasty one. Tom Wood has got a warning flag for something. Drivers going for moves that aren't there. Look, there's no grip in the first corner. Littlewood goes off, Fleming goes off. Heading, Dewey, Pryor. Oh, and Littlewood spun it and Darrell Taylor crashes into him. Everybody trying to avoid the carnage, but they're joining the scenes of the wreckages. Oh my goodness. And Darrell Taylor has had to park it. Damage to his kart. He crashed into Littlewood. Has Littlewood got a kart that can carry on functioning? Look, you can see the rain coming down and they're all on slick tyres. So now it's about driving from the seat of your pants, essentially, as they all cut through. Look, they're all running wide. So now everybody's just desperately trying to get round the course. I think that is hailstones now, you know. So they are actually falling very heavily on the circuit. Reggie Dewey is up into third position as a result of all of that. So he's trying to cut his way through on the inside of Thomas Fleming. There's no grip on the circuit at all. Yellow flag's out. Reggie Dewey goes off the circuit, rejoins, and tries to cut in front of Thomas Turner. I think Turner actually drifted off onto the grass there at Bobby Game corner. Yes, he did. He caught it. But the karts are going wide and going off. Just trying to find any patch of grip on the circuit at all is a mission at the moment. Reggie Dewey has the warning flag. But to be fair, every single one of them is just desperately trying to find some grip. Thomas Fleming's back in second. Goodness me. The field just tries to work himself. Look, they're all going for different parts of the circuit, hoping that A, there isn't another opponent in their path, and B, there's actually going to be some grip when they get to it. Karts are going off all over the place. Fleming's off again. This time he's off big time. Goodness me, and I think I saw the 103 going off there as well. Harry Platten. Piers Pryor has lost about 20 places, goodness me, as they try and get themselves around. Look, Ellingham just having to find the wide line. Reggie Dewey overtaking. Fleming has had another off. JP Sleater with a warning flag. And they come down the straight. Look at this. This is absolute ice skating at the moment as they break down. Drivers with their hands in the air. Look, I think they might be throwing the red flag. Yes, they have. The whole field is on slick tyres. It's becoming undrivable, and once karts can't even stay on the road when drivers are trying to slow down, that's when you know it's a little bit suicidal to keep the race going. So the red flag is out. Look at the rain. And I have to say, that's a sensible decision under the circumstances. The last thing you want is a big incident. Goodness me. That is torrential. Red flags, so they will restart the race, but we are on lap 4. Now, interestingly, the restart will be a single file, but because they're going to subtract a lap, it'll go back a lap. Look, Marcus Littlewood, having spun off and be down at the back of the field, can retake his place at the front of the field. Fortune favours the fortunate, just in the same way that we had with Lewis Hamilton in Formula 1 a few weeks ago. Oliver Greetham off in the background. So a little bit of a trip off there. He now rejoins at the back of the field. But Marcus Littlewood is the luckiest man in Lincolnshire right now. He will go off P2 on the single file restart. Someone's going to start the race from the pit lane there. But Ellingham at the front, Littlewood in second, then Fleming and Taylor. So this will be an interesting one. Does Littlewood have the strength to fight back? Let's find out. They all come off the wet part of the circuit and go through the first couple of corners. It's not going to be an easy first lap, that is for sure. They all try and find a decent braking spot on the inside of the left-hander. As they all filter through, still going to be tricky. There are going to be some damp patches around the course. Ellingham trying to break away nice and early. Littlewood in second. Fleming and Taylor giving pursuit, but Fleming has lost the place to Taylor initially. Here comes Reggie Dewey on the inside, Oh, and they've all drifted wide. Littlewood's gone wide, so has Taylor. Reggie Dewey back into second place. It's as if nothing happened almost off the restart. As Piers Pryor tries to fight his way back on the inside, a long shot round the outside for Joe Taylor. Little bit of grass there as well. Look at them, they're all over the shop as they try and fight for grit. Turner's going to drift wide into the path of trajectory for Sam Heading. They tippy-toe their way up towards Bobby Game. It's absolutely no grip at all, even with the change of tyres. See, now they're on wet tyres, but the difficulty is it's not torrential rain, so there's not going to be a massive amount of rain for them to bite into the tyres. That means there's going to be almost no grip, as there was with slicks on the rain. So it's an absolutely disastrous situation. You can see there's, a spin. That's Bingham. Bingham's gone off on the final corner. It's stopped raining and they're all on wets, but this track drains very fast indeed, so there's not going to be a lot of grip for anybody for the rest of this race. So Ellingham out in front of Dewey, and this is Reggie Dewey territory. He loves it in mixed grip conditions. This is where he really loves to excel. Here's Heading trying to get on the inside of Littlewood. Littlewood drifts wide and Heading spins. Well, I think Littlewood will probably see that as punishment fits the crime there. Heading spins around. I don't think that was intentional loading, but unfortunately because of how tentative they were into the braking zone, he accidentally nudged him deeper into the apex than he wanted to go, and Heading spun for his trouble. So Ellingham, Dewey, and in third place, that is now Thomas Turner in front of Joe Taylor. Still, they're sliding around all over the shop. Littlewood is all the way down the order to 7th now, just in front of Lewis Mackey. There's Piers Pryor, thinking pink in the 169. Only real men wear pink, of course, as we all know. They come through the final turn. Look, they're all over the shop, desperately trying to pick a line and hope it sticks. I love it in these conditions. I think I'm the only one who does, because from my perspective, it gives me amazing stuff to talk about. Under the bridge. And that is Harry Platten trying to get through on the inside of one of the Fullertons as they continue to charge their way round. That is the 117, I think. Oh, no, sorry, 127, I should say. That's Joe Taylor trying to get through and disappear ahead of Platten, Fleming, and the 115 of Marcus Littlewood. Then it is the 113. That's Ewan Wilson. Goodness me, he's come charging his way through to 8th position in front of Lewis Mackey and Archie Tillett. With the 193 next up in the mix, that is Will Murdoch, who is still towards the sharp end in front of Casper Scusa, and that is Reggie Dewey, charging his way through to the lead of the race. Just spotted that. So like I said, he loves mixed conditions where there's very little grip. Reggie Dewey seems to have a little bit of a sixth sense for traction, and he finds it where a lot of other drivers wouldn't even look for it. Lucas Ellingham, 2nd position. Thomas Turner 3rd, and for everybody else, it's hang it out there and hope you've got a little bit of control. Look at them sliding around all over. It's looking more like rallycross than it is karting at the moment. Karts sliding around all over the place. So Reggie Dewey leads. Ellingham 2nd. Turner, Platten, Taylor, Fleming. And then the 113 is next up. That's Ewan Wilson, charging his way from 18th on the grid to 7th. That's the kind of fight back you can make in these conditions, especially if you've got the tyre pressures bang on perfect. Here we go again, Marcus Littlewood, this time battling away with Lewis Mackey. Mackey dives for the inside, and oh no, not everybody can get the kart stopped. James Walker spins around. I think he tagged Will Murdoch. Not sure if Will Murdoch got going again or whether he was spinning as well. Lewis Mackey defending valiantly from Littlewood. There is the 193, so he did get away with it. So Will Murdoch, very lucky indeed there. That could have been him out of the race. So they just about tiptoe their way through. Thomas Fleming his way down the order by the look of it. James Walker as well. So has Thomas Fleming crashed out? Didn't see him there. No, he's got a transponder issue because there he is, just in behind Littlewood and Scusa. So a transponder issue then for Fleming, but he is still there. You can see the 102. Oh, no traction at all for Littlewood out of the final turn. Goodness me, he was sliding around like a drunk dad on a wedding on roller skates. My goodness. Up to the inside line. Great overtaking moves there as Taylor, Wilson and Platten go at it hammer and tongs for position. Is that Wilson in front? Not quite the 113. I think that's still Joe Taylor. Oh, it is the 113. It is Ewan Wilson. Now he's going to try and chop across on the 121 of Archie Tillett, who's worked his way forward. Tillett gets the run on the inside line. He picks up the place, up into 5th position behind Harry Platten. Ewan Wilson still wants a piece of it. Really good racing. You've got to love the Fullerton chassis. They look absolutely stupendous in the British karting scene. It's a shame we don't see them further afield on the continent more often because they do look absolutely lush. 127, Joe Taylor. Still mixing it up there in front of Casper Scusa, who's worked his way up into 8th position. A good fight back for him. There's Piers Pryor, still trying to knock on the door of the top 10. Good to see him doing an LGM campaign this year. One of the nicest people in British karting. I've always said to him, if there's going to be a difficult year for you on the sidelines, don't be on the sidelines. Come and commentate with me. We'll have an absolute ball. And Piers Pryor has taken me up on that a few times in the past. But I'd much rather be a lone ranger in the commentary box with Piers Pryor on the circuit than without him. It's always good to see him out there on circuit racing tooth and nail. So Reggie Dewey out in front of Lucas Ellingham and Thomas Turner. There's Littlewood trying to hang on in front of Piers Pryor. But I think Piers Pryor made that stick. Yes, he did. And here comes the move from Will Murdoch as well. Murdoch trying to get through. Still no grip at all in these S's and these hairpins. So Littlewood hanging on in front of the 193 there of Will Murdoch for the ST Racing team. Ollie Greetham chasing them down as well. And who's that in the background? That's the 178 trying to charge forward. That is Derek Morgan under some pressure on the gold chassis there behind him. That is the 154, I think that is, trying to get back into the action. That's Dan Butterworth really stepping up to the plate as a senior X30 driver. Reggie Dewey, last lap begins. Hanging on in front of Lucas Ellingham. This must be so difficult. The thing is, they're on wet tyres and the track is drying out. It's very nearly bone dry in places, so there won't be a lot of water to soak onto the tyres. You cannot stress how difficult it is to race on wet tyres on a dryish track, because if there's no water to go into the treads, you're basically sliding around all over the place. Ellingham coming around the outside of Reggie Dewey. And he's off the circuit, technically, to get the move. They bang wheels once, twice, 3 times, and Reggie Dewey goes off onto the grass. Manages to recover. Oh, my goodness. Now we've got a boxing match on the final lap as Thomas Turner tries to defend from Harry Platten. Has Reggie Dewey got one last trick up his sleeve? He drifts wide. Oh, Reggie Dewey runs off the road. Manages to catch it. But that has cost him any chance of going for the win. Lucas Ellingham has stolen it on the final lap. Still good jockeying for position in the midfield, but it's going to be Lucas Ellingham who picks up the victory out of the final turn. Reggie Dewey's not going to be happy at all, but Lucas Ellingham definitely is. He gets the win. Look at Reggie Dewey shaking his head. Very clear what he felt of it all. Excellent. I'm out of breath, and I wasn't even in the karts. Amazing racing to the line as they continue to duel. Look at them sliding out of the final corner. Absolutely amazing. They just about get to the end in a very tricky race. At least the senior X30 drivers had to deal with it rather than one of the cadet or the mini X30 racers, because that would have been very difficult for them to cope with under the circumstances. So Lucas Ellingham bags the victory over the line. Very interesting stuff. Reggie Dewey, though, not a happy boy. He's in second. Thomas Turner in third in front of Harry Platten and Ewan Wilson, who charges his way back to 5th position from 18th on the grid. What a drive. Thomas Fleming in 6th position in the end. Front fairing penalties cause Archie Tillett and Casper Skuza to drop down to 7th and 9th. Scott Smith splits them after a good fight back in the closing stages. And Lewis Mackey comes home in 10th position. Oliver Greetham with the fastest lap of the race, a 60.26. That's how difficult it was to find speed and grip around the circuit in those drizzly conditions. But Lucas Ellingham opens his account with a win. Reggie Dewey will definitely want revenge in tomorrow's final.
There were a few investigations after the race, but the result stood. Lucas Ellingham took the win from Reggie Dewey and Thomas Turner in 3rd. And that, of course, means that Lucas Ellingham takes the championship lead forward to round 2 tomorrow, where the weather conditions will be miserable. Do not miss that race.